Hey guys, touched on it yesterday, but the video wasn't about that. So I wanted to do a video specifically about the terrorist attack that happened in Quebec City and that is not being reported as such by the media because it doesn't fit the narrative, you know? It doesn't fit the narrative. And man, first of all, first heard the news, all right? When I heard that a mosque was attacked, although I hadn't looked at the reports yet, part of me, in all honesty, part of me said it's very unlikely that that's a Muslim that did that. I thought to myself, either it's not a Muslim at all, right? I kind of figured it wasn't, or if it is a Muslim, maybe someone who just started practicing the religion or that just became extremely radicalized because it's hard for me to picture a Muslim shooting up a mosque. We can't rule anything out, but that was my first initial reaction to it. Now, regardless of who did it, all right, I thought to myself, this was horrific. 6 innocent people just got killed, others injured. And there's effects that go with that, obviously. Now, police have arrested 2 suspects. This happened in Canada, by the way. Canada's prime minister did call it an act of terrorism, right? And that's what it should be called. Now, here in the United States, we don't call anything terrorism unless a Muslim did it. Now, I'm not a Muslim, right? So it's not like I'm out here defending Muslims just for the sake of defending them. All I'm saying is, whenever there's an attack of any sort, right, I don't condone them if a Muslim does it, if a white person does it, right? If a black person does it, if a Hispanic does it. I don't condone it. I'm not condoning this one. Now, as I waited for the facts to come out, you had alt-right pathetic idiots run all over the internet celebrating this, right? Now, they didn't celebrate saying yay. No, it was that fake kind of, type of thing where they do the whole, oh man, well, you see, we've been telling you all, we've been telling you guys, that's how they are. That's what the Muslims do. And then they have their little sayings over there in the alt-right, right? Well, one of their favorite sayings is, not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims, right? And I know, these idiots, can you necessarily blame them for thinking that way? Huh? When all they hear about, when there's a Muslim attack, sure, from the alt-right, it's reported that way, if it's a Muslim that did it. And even the mainstream media reports it that way. Was the definition of a terrorist attack. This was a white nationalist. Clear terrorism, right-wing terrorism is a bigger problem in this country than Islamic terrorism. You gotta let me know how the audio is. But it's a bigger problem. Now, I'm going to need people to follow me here. I'm going to need you to follow along so you don't misconstrue or misunderstand my point. I already said at the very beginning of the video, regardless of who committed the act, It's appalling. It's wrong. I condemn it. But we need to like, we keep hearing about how we got to open a conversation, right? Well, let's open a conversation. Why is this problem not being addressed? Why is this going to be swept under the rug? Not necessarily that this individual is going to get away with it, right? They've been arrested. But why is it that this is going to be, just a crazy lone wolf, and we're just going to pretend like there isn't a problem with alt-right, okay, websites pushing this type of behavior? No, but no, they're not. Yes, they are. Right? That piece of shit that shot up the black church, right, in South Carolina. Well, when they went back and looked at the websites that influenced him, they were alt-right websites. This individual, same thing. And you could keep going back and back, man. The dude that shot up the one clinic and shot at police officers and shit, right? Alt-right websites. Like, if this isn't a problem. The one that almost shot up that pizza shop because they were believing this stupid Pizzagate story, right? Alt-right website. So this idea that this has, we need to go ahead and to just ignore this. It's just a lone wolf. It's just a crazy guy, right? Don't we all agree that somebody who walks into anywhere and shoots up a bunch of people, that there's something wrong with them? Yes, we know that. But let's stop acting like this isn't a problem, because it clearly is. Okay. Right-wingers are the number one killers of cops in this country, but I don't see laws being passed, right, that targets those right-wingers. No, 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 no. Instead, when a cop happens to be killed by some black gunman who was caught, by the way, we want to start passing these politically motivated laws, like called a Blue Lives Matter law, right, for the so-called protection of cops. But it's not necessarily targeting the people that are actually killing the cops at large numbers. See, those don't get reported in the media. A dude walked into a mosque and shot up a bunch of Muslims. The president isn't saying anything about it. Nothing from the State Department, Homeland Security, nothing. We're not hearing anything about that. Yet, what are we doing? Now, yes, that was in Canada, but let's not act like it hasn't happened here, or it may not happen here. Hate crimes against Muslims went up. They skyrocketed once this motherfucker got elected. So, if we're honest, if we have the honest conversation, maybe we need to dive into that. Let's dive into it. I'm talking the highest pull possible and just dive in. Let's just dive in. This was the definition of a terrorist attack. This should be covered all over the news. And I'm not saying they're not covering it, but let's flip the script for a moment. Right? Let's say, hypothetically, and look, this doesn't mean, right, I don't want this to happen. I'm talking hypothetically. If a individual, because this is the way I see it, an individual walked into a building, shot up innocent people, killed them, his reasons are clearly ideological, and we'll learn more about that. To me, that's a terrorist attack. It was to instill fear on those group of people. That's the definition. Now, if you say white person walked in, shot up a bunch of Muslims, I still look at it the same. That's me, though. If you say Muslim walks in and shoots up a bunch of white people, I still look at it the same. That's me, though. But if we're honest, that's not how it really is it? That's not how it really is. Look, you see, you think I'm happy about what happened to that poor dude, man, that handicapped guy that they got humiliated on Facebook? You know, that was disgusting. I didn't approve of that, right? And I'm glad those individuals got arrested. But man, when I saw the outcry for that, yet nobody blinks an eye for this. Let's be honest, and you know exactly where I'm going with this. If a Muslim walked into a church and shot up 6 people, injured 8, this would be all over the news. Half of this country would suddenly be saying, oh yeah, that's why we need to ban those Muslims from coming in. Donald Trump did the right thing. Even though when you look at the nuance of things, of all these countries being banned, never has someone from that country flown into this country and killed an American citizen. That's never happened. We as a country happen to have dropped bombs and killed people there, but that's a completely different story. You know, I this always amazes me, right? It honestly does. This is the height of hypocrisy. And the reason people don't want to have this conversation is people think, oh, what are you saying? You want white people to get shot? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying the opposite. I don't want anybody to get shot. I don't want anybody to get killed. But the fact that in the eyes of many people, the life of Muslims is not as important as the life of other individuals, that's kind of scary to me. I mean, literally, you have dehumanized a lot of these people just because of their religion. About they're Muslims. Like, let me tell you something, man. And look, I was never in favor of these wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I was never in favor of these wars, right? But I know a couple friends that were in Iraq, and one in particular tells me, I mean, some of these dudes would risk their lives to like give them booze and shit, because apparently, and they would. I don't know. This sounds familiar to anybody in the military, but they would get like the Listerine bottles and wash them out, and then they would put like liquor in there or some shit. I don't know. That shit's fascinating. But and not only that, I mean, dudes that would risk their lives to translate for the troops, and why they did it, why they didn't do it. I don't have time to go through these nuances, but the fact that even those individuals that have green cards are not allowed to come back here is simply astonishing. Just because Trump wants to look cool and act like he's doing something to keep us safe. If he was serious about that, he would be looking to a lot of these white nationalist groups that are growing right now, right? But they're not doing that, right? I mean, they'll rather talk about. I saw in, I believe it was North Carolina. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently there was some Black Panthers with guns, and all I saw on Facebook was, oh look, the Black Panther Party, they're back to their, violent ways. Isn't that an open carry state? Like, isn't it funny how the Second Amendment all of a sudden doesn't matter when you are a certain skin color? And this isn't with everybody, but and I don't even think they know they're doing it. But isn't it amazing how it doesn't apply anymore? These Black Panthers didn't shoot anybody, right? Okay, they didn't shoot up a church, right? They didn't shoot a cop or anything. They didn't kill anybody. They didn't do anything. They were just, they had weapons in an open carry state. I thought you guys were cool with that. I mean, you guys walk into Walmarts with fucking and shit because it's your quote unquote right to do so. And you want to go to Whataburger with his kids around with fucking semi-automatic weapons, right? And it's funny because they always come on here. They're like, "It's not semi-auto. You don't know anything about gun." It's a gun. It shoots a lot of fucking bullets. That's all I need to fucking know, right? What's my Second Amendment right? Like, you guys are not very consistent with the Second Amendment thing. Probably because you don't know the history of the Second Amendment, right? And you know what? That's a whole nother video, right? But don't get me wrong. I am in favor of people owning guns, right? You want to have a gun in your home to protect your family? I'm 100% in favor of that, right? You want to go hunting? Cool. The only thing is it has to apply to everybody. Finally, I thought all lives matter, right? That's all I keep hearing. All I keep hearing from these pro-life people, right, that don't want to let little refugees come in. They want to leave them out there to die. I thought you were pro-life, right? I thought, you're pro-life. Really? I thought all lives matter. Shouldn't you be just as outraged with this going on, with Muslims getting killed by a white dude, than if it was the reverse? I thought all lives matter. See, this is where I find out that people that were saying all lives matter were just full of shit, right? Anything for this, right? If this, I hate to say this, I really do, but it's the truth, right? Those that were killed here were not Muslim. Right now, and you guys know this is true, all over Facebook, all over Twitter, and I'm not saying there would be anything wrong with that, but just follow me here. All over these websites, you would have, we stand with Canada and pray for Canada, and Donald Trump would have came out and made a speech about, oh yes, these are real problems, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it would be everywhere. Twitter hashtag pray for Canada. It would be everywhere. Why isn't that happening now? Why isn't that not trending now? I thought all lives matter, right? That's what I thought. It's funny to me, like they don't let the Syrian refugees in, and when you really think about it, they're just scared, man. Look at this dude. He went into this mosque, right? Like they're always talking about it, man. I don't know. No, I'm gonna go there. Look, so these shooters, man, that walk into mosques and churches, right? Happen to be white nationalists that do that shit, right? But like they go in there, right? And I know in one particular case, welcomed in there, right? Wasn't kicked out, wasn't anything. People were praying with them and everything. And that particular case, but I believe, like I saw here, for anywhere from the age of 30 to 70 were the individuals killed in a mosque, right? Like you would think, right? Like these guys really hate ISIS and they want to take ISIS down and this, that, right? Like, why don't they um, I gotta put this, like in the case of the Muslims, right? Like I know these fuckers are terrified of ISIS. Okay, this is how I know. Number one, right? They don't want to let these refugees in because what if one of them is a member of ISIS, right? To shoot something up. What if? So let them die if you have to. Doesn't matter. I know, but we're the ones. This country's like the big part, in large part, a reason why that whole country's in chaos right now. The same with Iraq. I know we're at fault for the mess over there, but you're not allowed in. We're just a bunch of pussies and we're scared. Okay? Like, without saying it, they're saying it. They're scared of ISIS. Like, don't go out and shoot up a mosque where they know nobody's armed and no one's gonna put up a fight really. But like they'll never go find like a Al Qaeda compound or an ISIS. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna go seek out like the dudes in ISIS and go have a shootout with them because they're fucking pussies, right? I know what you're gonna say. Well, what about you? Why do you do it? Well, because you see me, I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't want to kill anyone. But if you want to go out there for a big cause and you want to be something, you want to be big and bad and show everybody that you're here to fight ISIS and this, that, and the third. ISIS welcomes the fight. I mean, you're more than welcome, okay, to get a plane ticket. I mean, you're throwing your life away anyway, right? So just get a plane ticket, go fly to one of those countries, right? Take get some weapons over there and just call them out. Or why don't you just go on YouTube and call them out? Like just call out ISIS. Just like give out your address and be like, "Come here, ISIS." Why don't you just do something like that? No, we're gonna go. We're gonna find and we're gonna shoot up some middle-aged to elderly-aged, Muslims, and because I'm tough like that. I'm a tough dude. You're a piece of shit. That's what you are, right? That's exactly what you are. And this was a terrorist attack. That's what it should be called. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And god damn, I know people fucking hate how consistent I am. Right? I'm out of here.